Hey guys, it's Bub here, and in this video we're taking a look at X-Lite Optimum 10 Classic. In the past we're taking a look at X-Lite 11, actually twice I believe, two different versions of it, but because Microsoft is ending support for Windows 10 later this year, I figured it would be a nice trip down quote memory lane to see what this OS looks like and how it compares to traditional Windows 10. Now, why anyone would just not use regular Windows 10, I don't know, but again, X-Lite Optimum 10 Classic is here. I chose the classic version because it looked more like Windows 10, and that's exactly what I wanted to look at, something close to Windows 10. Obviously, the goal of this OS is to make things lighter and to remove bloatware, but judging by what we've looked at in X-Lite version in the past, it doesn't really do that. But again, I'm open to see what this specific version does. First things first, we could see based on the loading screen as well as this, we can see branding everywhere, custom backgrounds. I mean, it just feels and looks very cheap. Very scammy in a way, but that's like a lot of custom ISOs. Not all of them. Tiny10, Tiny10 don't look like this, but a lot of them do look like this. We're going to choose Defender on because I do want security, and we are going to go ahead and install. We're going to have to select the disk, next, and we are now installing. Again, in the theme of scammy and weird, I mean, look at this window border. This looks disgusting. I mean, it looks like Windows 98, but 3D. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It looks disgusting though. Alright, and here we are on the desktop. And now first there's a ton of things I noticed, but let's start off with what's on the desktop by default. We have our recycle bin as well as an extras plus info folder that includes a whole bunch of things like, desktop shortcuts to change the username, enable the printing, enable a touch keyboard, and text input application, fix the Xbox sign in, guides, which I'm assuming is a web page. Yep. The Microsoft Store installer, in case you want to install an app from the store. You can install Chrome or Firefox because I'm assuming this doesn't come with a web browser. That's just my best educated guess. And then we have X-Lite info, change username info, and some wallpapers. But that's neither here nor there. Let's take a look down at this taskbar. The first thing, like I said, one of the first things I noticed is the fact that the start button is a Windows 8 start button. It obviously has the larger Windows logo compared to what we'd see in Windows 10. And the taskbar itself just looks like the size of Windows 8, so it looks like they brought that. On the very right side, we have our Show Desktop button, our Notification Center, our Calendar, our Volume, our Network Settings, and our System Tray. The only thing I did is I installed VMware Tools so you guys get a better experience. And then on that left side, we have our File Explorer as well as that Start button. Speaking of that start button, as we saw the first time I opened it, this is not your traditional Windows 10 start menu. This is obviously some form of modified simplistic start menu because it does not have the live tiles. I really don't know how I feel about this. I'm not too happy about it, but because it's just more bloat that needs to be installed. Why would you install another start menu when there's already a start menu in Windows? But regardless, they did it, so let's take a look at it. It looks like the default username for this account, because we didn't get an out-of-box experience, is admin. We also have a documents folder, a pictures folder, a music folder, downloads folder, this PC, control panel, settings, and run. By default, it does appear like no programs are pinned, but in all programs, we can see our apps. So these are like our traditional UWP apps. We also have nothing in startup, traditional Windows accessories. Again, not a lot of bloat here, simplistic things. Windows administrative tools, nothing out of the ordinary. Ease of access, PowerShell, Windows System, and X-Lite tools. So this is pretty much some of the things we saw in the extras and info folder. Old new Explorer, search, WinArrow tweaker, firewall on off, print spooler, touch keyboard, Windows Server, Windows Update, and on and on. So it's cool that they put those in the start menu. I don't really like having them in the start menu, but it's cool that they decided to put them there. Naturally, this OS is called X-Lite, so one of the first things I want to do is actually take a look at our disk, CPU, and RAM usage. So we have 55.1 gigs free of 59.8 gigs, which means we are using just about 4.7 gigabytes of space. Not bad for a Windows 10 installation. And then opening up Task Manager, we can see, just how quickly that opened. I know on Windows 11 it does take a little longer. We are using, typical Windows CPU utilization, not that much, 2%, 3%. And then under memory, we are running, now granted, I did give this VM 8 gigs, so this isn't really a fair comparison for a lightweight machine, but we are using 1.4 of our 8 gigs. So obviously, if we were bringing this down to 2, it would reduce the amount of RAM it's using, but right now it's using 1.4 out of 8 gigs, just idle. So let's get a little more into this OS, and let's see what specific version of Windows it's running. So we can see it is Optimum 10, running Windows 10 Pro version 22H2. So it does look like the latest official build of Windows 10. I don't actually know where we stand on Windows 10 build numbers, so I don't know, what specific update this is on, but it does appear like updates are paused. If I do that, will it let me update the OS? I know that there's a setting here in our start menu to turn updates back on, but maybe that will start the Windows Update service for us. But yeah, they just disabled it through a group policy, so nothing too out of the ordinary. And yep, it does look like updates are downloading, and the oldest update in this list at least is a October 2023 update. So it definitely is running a significantly old version of Windows 10. At least that's what it appears. If we go to update history, we can see, yeah, no, they cleared the update history before they shipped the OS. And like I said earlier, and one thing I just thought of, there is no web browser. I mean, there is Internet Explorer if you count that as a web browser. But, I mean, I don't think you can actually open it, which is a little bit of a disappointment because that's great for Windows. So like I said, in that extras info, they do include a installer for you. They include an installer for you that does appear to have been created on Friday, November 17th. 2023. So that does line up with the Windows Update version that we saw. So it does look like that's when this OS was compiled from 2023, which I thought it was a lot newer than that. I'm a little disappointed that it's that old. But with that being said, this is a brief overview of X-Lite Optimum 10 Classic. If you like this video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're new around here, as I do all kinds of different technology videos, including device restorations. If you're looking for the download link, I will not be linking the download for any future ISOs in the description due to what YouTube did to my last video. YouTube, because I had a download link in the description, decided to take it down and would not even look at my claim. So, for future reference, we will no longer be including download links. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.